All right, so Jude, Genesis 6. So I'm going to start with the Genesis 6 part first. Okay. Genesis 6, 3. The Lord said, "My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, and yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants," which is Nephilim, is the word for giants there, "on the earth in those days, and also afterwards. The sons of God came into the daughters of men and bore children to them. Those were mighty men of old, men of renown." Okay. So the common Christian understanding of this era is that they're talking about the sons of Seth, if you're a non-supernaturalist. A lot of it's the orientation of the Christian church right now to avoid any non-Jesus created supernaturalism. So we don't talk about spirits, demons, devils. We don't talk about giants. We don't talk about anything that's not observable. Very natural and rationalist approach to the Bible. So there is only a small part that talks about the angels leaving their abodes, right? Verse 6 in Jude, angels did not keep their proper domain or own domain. So if they did not keep their own domain, that means the angels weren't in heaven, weren't in the spiritual realm, but in the physical. What does proper mean? Or own? The word, whichever way you take it, it means they were not in the realm which they belonged, but left their own abode. So it says it two ways. Did not keep their proper domain, left their own abode. Okay, so according to verse 6, these angels left their proper domain, left their own abode, and reserved in everlasting change, which is something it talks about in Enoch. It references hell being set up for the angels, but it doesn't give you a reason why hell was set up for the angels. That's where Enoch fills in the backstory. And I made the statement that I think Enoch is the backbone of Jude. I do believe so. Because these were people who were, these angels were disruptors. All right, let's. Enoch talks about a lot of positive things. It talks about the stars and the lights and the orbits, all things which were not understood. Even if you give a late date for Enoch, these are things that were not understood when Enoch was written, even with a late date. All right, let me read a little bit from Enoch. But you, having neither held, nor done the commandments of the Lord, have turned away, spoken hard and proud words with your unclean mouths against his greatness, like speaking evil of dignitaries, which he talks about in 8 and 9. This is from, I'm reading Enoch right now. So I'm showing you how Enoch is the backbone of Jude. They will curse your days, and the years of your life shall perish, and the years of your destruction shall be multiplied, and an eternal curse you shall find no mercy. He's talking to the angels. In those days you shall make your names an eternal curse to all the righteous, and by you all who curse, and all the sinners and godless shall curse you forever. And for you the godless shall be cursed, and all the elect shall rejoice, and there shall be forgiveness of sins, mercy, peace, forbearance, and joy. And there shall be salvation for them and a good light. And for all of you sinners, there shall be no salvation, but on you shall abide a curse. But for the elect shall be a light and joy and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. They shall inherit the earth. Sounds like something Jesus said, right? But wisdom shall be given to the elect, and they shall live and never again sin, either through forgetfulness or pride. But those who are given wisdom shall be humble, nor again trespass, nor sin all the days of their life, nor shall they die of the anger and wrath of God. But they shall complete the number of their days, and their days shall be increased in peace, and their years shall grow in joy and eternal gladness and peace in the days of their lives. That's just chapter 5 of Enoch 1. And so then it starts giving an expansion of Genesis 6 in chapter 6 of Enoch. So it said, the children of men had multiplied in those days and bore fair and beautiful daughters, and the angels, the sons of heaven. Okay, so it makes very clear in Enoch that the sons of God were angels, which is why you need Enoch to understand Jude. And angels, the sons of Heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, come, let us choose wives from among the children of men, and have children with them. And Semjaz, who was their leader, said, I fear you will not agree to this deed, and I alone will pay penalty of this great sin. And they all answered and said, let us swear an oath that we bind ourselves to mutual curses, so we will not abandon this thing we plan to do. And they all swore together and bound themselves by mutual curses. Now it gives where they did this, then it gives their names, which I'm not going to read the names, the demons. They took wives, went into them, had sex with them. And the women became pregnant and bore large giants. When the giants consumed the work of man, they began to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, fish, devour each other's flesh, and drink the blood. And the earth laid accusations on the lawless ones. So, yeah, that's chapter 7. Okay, I'm just going to stop there because I think that's, as far as the ties to Jude, I think we got the wandering stars, but I don't know that I want to touch the wandering stars because I don't know. Where's the wandering stars again? Yeah, in verse 13, wandering stars, for whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. That's a reference to the angels, the fallen angels in Enoch. So you got 6 and 7, which if you read Enoch, it makes more sense because they left their proper domain reserved for them in everlasting chains. And then you understand how Sodom and Gomorrah falling to sexual immorality is similar to the sexual immorality of the angels. Without Enoch, verse 7 doesn't make much sense. We already read in a previous video the quotation from Enoch, and we read the direct quotation from the book of Enoch itself, how similar it is. Even in Enoch, it talks about people full of sin and contrast them with the elect. That's as far as I need to go with that. So feel free to yell and scream. And okay, well, I need to talk about for a second why people don't want to tie Enoch to the Bible to Jude. The reason is that the idea of angel human hybrid is just, it's too X-Files for people who are in the rationalist. They don't believe in demons, don't believe in ghosts, don't believe in what the Bible says because it's not observable. So they create their own doctrine to get away from that. And they purposely obscure books like Jude because Jude seems to tell a more supernaturalist tale. I don't know how to say it any differently, but you got 25 verses in Jude. The themes of Jude, of angels leaving their own abode, it talks about old and new apostates, is what it says in my translation. But it references the assumption of Moses, the Didache, but the theme of the ungodly comes from Enoch, and uses the angels as an example to base Jude's talk about apostates on. That's where his ideas about apostasy come from in Jude. Talk about these are sensual persons not having the Spirit, walk according to their own lusts. Well, these all tie back to in your reading 18 and 19. These all tie back to 5 through 11, and the example that he puts forth is of the angels who were sensual enough that they left their own abode. We talked about leaving their own abode and their proper domain. How it says it twice in Jewish ideas. Repetition helps. Yeah. Well, let's see if anybody makes it this far before they start yelling and screaming. Well, like, share, and subscribe, my peoples.